Lydia?
So Lydia.
The Lydia. Got a
Lydia,
long
I don't
way.
know. I don't know if you can read my sign, if it comes through that clearly. But
Oh, hold on.
Well,
Should I put Daisy on screen so we can see the sign?
I mean, people maybe saw it before.
I
But
pointed it out at the top. I pointed it out at the top of the show.
yeah, we can do it again.
Folkwise is alive. Here, have some
Yes.
gold.
Here,
Yes,
have
here,
some
have
gold.
some gold.
Tommy, thank you for the bits, and also thank you for the bits earlier when I was having a freak out in a dungeon. But here, have some gold.
Have some gold. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
I am. All right.
Bits for the interview.
We've got.
Thank you. This is from, if people don't know, it's one of the lines that Lydia says from the musical that we were all in together.
Folks, we have Lydia, protagonist and hero, on the show this week. And I think she's ready to get interviewed. Lydia, you want to talk to us a little bit about folklore, about research, about things you like, and get hyped for the con that we're all going to shortly?
All of the above.
All of the above is good for me. All right, everyone. Lydia, chat. Wait, Dom, I know you won't play a different Souls game now because of the goat horse being your favorite thing, but it really is a joy to learn. I played Jedi Fallen Order. I like Jedi Fallen Order. I think because lightsaber go brrr, and it's a fun weapon. Thank you, chat. All right, but it's interview time.
Lightsaber go brr.
Lightsaber
does go brr.
Yeah.
That's the next one after the boing boing. We've moved on the spectrum
Got-
from boing boing
the
to
two Souls
brr.
games, the two Souls likes I played are Boing Boing Goat Horse and Lightsaber Go Brrr.
And this is how memes
But I
are
was
made.
about to thank the
Yes.
the
Yes.
intrepid and indefatigable Folkwise interview sleuths who help us write.
Indefatigable.
That's right. Who help us write
I
these
appreciate-
questions every week. Lydia, if you like a question you hear, do not thank me. Thank the sleuths. Same with you, chat. But you want to get into these questions?
Let's go.
Lydia, a lot of times when we start off an interview, we like to ask a question that the guest is the perfect person to describe to a broad audience. And
Oh,
you know,
boy.
what we realized?
What?
You might be the perfect person for this question. Lydia, what is vernacular religion? It's a broad question that you can explain to a general audience.
It is. It's just also been so long since someone asked me that question that it's almost shocking.
Oh, thank you, sleuths.
So, I mean, I suppose in a broader philosophical sense, it can be difficult to define religion on its own. And I
Yeah.
did have sort of a play argument with a sociologist coworker not that long ago about this subject. But if we accept, I guess if we take organized religion as a starting point, vernacular religion are kind of the traditions that fill in the cracks between dogmatic traditions, or perhaps things that are prescribed by authoritative figures. And vernacular belief also kind of flows into those cracks too, like kitsune, if you will. But really, you can't say ever that every single person who belongs to one faith tradition believes the same thing. Because everyone's bringing a different perspective to it anyway, right? They're bringing their personal life experiences to it. And so there are as many ways to do, a tradition as there are people within it. So vernacular belief or vernacular religion are those more personalized ways in there. And sometimes, even if I stray away a little bit from such an individualist and some would say American perspective on the subject, you can find somewhat more organized and passed down vernacular traditions too, so such as how Santeria can coexist with Catholicism, for example. And for sure, sometimes there's classism involved in that too. Catholicism is the organized one and Santeria is the folk one, but yeah, that's syncretism. There's another vocabulary word.
Well, I had about 4 different times I could have said "speaking of" thing you just said to take me to this next question. So I'm just gonna say,
Speaking of Santeria.
hey, speaking of everything you just mentioned, no, speaking of people doing traditions inside of a broader uh, um structure, I guess.
Hmm. Hmm.
Lydia, question for you.
Okay.
In a society in dialogue with feminist ideas, how do Orthodox women navigate through what is literally a patriarchal faith?
Did
Oh, am I
you
quoting your
like read
dissertation
my
at you?
dissertation
We
and
might
come
have. This part of the con crunch this week.
There's not a secret panel about this somewhere, is there?
There might be. Lydia,
Ask it again.
all these things you're talking about with vernacular religion being like how people actually do like traditions on like inside their religious organizations, a little more
So,
reductive than what you said. Then, with that in mind, your dissertation in a society in dialogue with feminist ideas, how do Orthodox women navigate through what is literally a patriarchy?
mm, well, they don't all do it in the same way. I think there are some women who reject the term feminism
Hmm.
outright, although I think I would argue, and it is a subjective argument, but I would argue that people are affected by a society in dialogue with feminism, even if they choose to reject that term out of hand. It has something to do with the expectations they have, right?
Hmm.
And I would also say, in relation to that whole vernacular interpretation of things too, that some of the patriarchal concepts get reinterpreted in ways that people feel are more empowering for them.
Sure.
So, for anybody who isn't aware, most dissertations are about hella niche topics. Hella niche.
I think chat knows because they know my dissertation is about hot dog eating
Okay.
contests.
I know who all is in there anyway, but my hella niche topic was Eastern Orthodox Christianity, which is a faith practiced in lots of countries in the world. It is often associated with Eastern Europe and Northern Africa, but those are not the only places in the world where it's practiced. And anyway, it is, as Dom said, a very patriarchal faith. And so I did my dissertation on people converting to it, and specifically North American people converting to it who are coming from a different sociocultural context, and they're trying to graft their cultural context onto this tradition, as it were. And there's a whole lot that can be said about the nature and experience of conversion by itself. Like, that's a whole thing.
Mhm.
But anyway, in Eastern Orthodox Christianity, there is a tradition that is not practiced across the board, but some churches do this, where if you are a woman and you are on your period, you should not take communion on Sunday because there are ideas about blood and cleanliness that kind of stem from the book of Leviticus.
Yeah.
And so anyway, there are some women that I met who practice this, who chose to convert to Orthodoxy of their own volition in adulthood, were not raised in this tradition at all, and chose this, and they choose to observe that practice. And so, anyway, they interpret that as like an opportunity to appreciate communion because of the times when you can't take it, or they think about it
Mm.
as a disciplinary thing like fasting,
Mm.
like this is a test, this is a personal test to abstain from it. And there are a lot of different ways that we can look at it with our own perspectives and such, but more or less they're interpreting it in a way that they find empowering, as opposed to the idea that it's imposed on them. And that's an interesting and telling thing, and I think it makes feminism multivalent, as it were, multi-layered.
Multivalent.
I'm probably misusing that word. I feel like that's a word I heard Chad use once. And I was like,
it.
that word sounds smart. I'm like,
Daisy, is the stream still glitchy?
You're back.
I'm back. Okay, the audio was
was-
there the whole time for
He's
Lydia's
back.
answer though. Lydia's
Yeah.
audio never cut out, which is good.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent.
New guy neighbor says he's multivalent.
Thank you. I guess you're
So-
welcome.
is he also numinous?
And yes, also numinous and luminous. Many things.
Numinous,
And
luminous,
expense.
and
literally
multivalent.
I assume you were also nominous.
Maybe
If you
that
were a
should go on
human.
my tombstone.
Maybe also
numinous and
enlightened.
luminous.
And multivalent.
Yeah. Lydia, you can answer this however you want for this follow up, but like, who is your feminist icon in Orthodox Christianity?
Oh my God. What a question. Honestly, the first answer that comes to my mind makes me think that I don't know if she would want me to say this. There is a woman that I very much admire who she goes by a different name now, but when I met her, she was going by Mother Mayev LaRue.
Mm-hmm.
And she is a trans woman who converted to Orthodoxy as a teenager. And this was very much part of a process of being in search of her family's roots. Some Eastern European family roots, but also, as she has continued on this journey, some Mongolian roots. And that is really where she's putting her energy right now in her life journey and her spiritual journey. But anyway, she ended up founding her own church called the Universalist Orthodox Church.
Yes.
And spoilers, because Eastern Orthodox Christianity is so patriarchal, we should all be shocked that they do not really recognize, at least not dogmatically, not officially, there is not a recognition of the complexity of gender and sexuality. It's a real binary kind of a lens there. However, and perhaps this could play into vernacular belief, I have met many, many, many Orthodox Christians who 100%, do recognize that spectrum and that complexity and are still practicing this faith because, as we all know, we are all very complicated people and make sense of our belief systems in different ways. But anyway, the official message is no, that is not a thing. We do not recognize it. So anyway, Mayev was like, I am not recognized to exist. I must go and start my own church. And so she did. And I think she was a great spiritual comfort to a number of people that she met doing that.
Sure.
But I'd say she is my icon literally.
Icon.
And figuratively.
See,
Hey.
I was making a patriarch literally and figuratively joke. I don't know if that flew over chat's head. Like patriarch being a job title you can have.
Yeah.
But icon literally and figuratively, well met, I will say.
When you said that you don't know if this person would consider themselves to be the feminist icon that you maybe see them as, or in this kind of vein, my first thought was, wow, how Elaine Lawless of you.
That's a deep folklore cut there. That's a deep folklore cut, but I like it.
Reflexive AF. We
Nothing
love
to do with
see
Lucy
it.
Lawless.
Does she? No, doesn't.
No,
because,
but also a feminist
But
icon.
also a feminist icon.
Yeah.
Because one of her entire books and rewrites of the intro text is I wrote about this person who I called a feminist. She hated it.
And she hated being called that, yeah.
She hated being called that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's interesting. I feel like, this has been said a million times by a million people, but there's a lot that's generational about feminism and how people think about it, right? And of course, now we're talking about feminism and womanism, or making feminism much, much broader than just white lady feminism or Western lady feminism. This can mean so many more things, but feminism is not a singular term. Feminism's vernacular feminisms,
Ooh.
some might say.
Some.
No. Lord, this is nerdy as fuck.
Yeah, welcome to Folklorist Live. It's Tuesday night. We did that.
This is
4
my
hours
brain
ago.
as well.
Hey, I got a library question for you, Lydia.
Okay, shoot.
As someone on our sleuth team is a librarian herself, and she wrote this one. I will say. Oh, it's Caitlin Kinney. You know Caitlin Kinney. How does public programming at libraries create liminal spaces for engagement across communities?
Ooh,
Look at that face.
I like that
Quality
question.
Look at that face.
Ooh, liminal spaces. Well,
Lydia just
first
made
of
the
all,
poggers emote.
Lydia, you make very good facial expressions. Just as an aside,
Thank you.
very expressive. I feel like I know a lot of. I don't know if I assume that your face says what is happening inside. I'm not sure if that always correlates, but it's a deep expression.
Oh, she's a good actress, though.
I've been told I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I think that's
You literally.
I mean, literally.
You literally are doing that.
This is what happens when you get.
This is what we were talking about at the top of the show, chat, about you're getting 3 roommates reunited.
Oh my god. Okay.
Shit.
Okay, libraries, liminal spaces across communities. Liminal
Yeah.
spaces for engagement.
So, libraries are one of the last free institutions in the United States. You can go there without the expectation of spending money. You can get help there and resources there without the expectation of spending money. And as such, it is also probably one of very few places, maybe increasingly few places in the United States where people of many different socioeconomic circumstances, different citizenship circumstances, different educational circumstances, you name it. People encounter one another in the library, often uncomfortably. And so I think that makes the library in and of itself a liminal space. And also it's a third space, right? Because it's not home, it's not work. It is a third space. Some would say it's a leisure space, although I think that's contestable as well, because there are people who go to the library who don't have other safe spaces to be.
Yeah.
And libraries are very important for that reason. I personally feel like it's important to let people sleep in the library. I don't think anybody's hurting anybody if they're sleeping in the library. There are some public libraries that have policies where that isn't allowed. And there are some good reasons for that too, because sometimes you want to make sure, for example, that someone is breathing in those circumstances, and maybe that creates a liability issue, whatever. But yeah, so libraries are liminal spaces in that sense. To bring in the programming element, programming can mean so many different things. It can mean bringing in a paid person. It could mean a volunteer person. It could mean that you are creating the programming. But programming often brings very important resources to all kinds of people from all kinds of different backgrounds. So anyway, I guess just in a nutshell, some examples of very important programming for people are bringing in legal aid specialists just for walk-up questions and answers, or hosting citizenship classes, hosting English language learning classes or Spanish language learning classes, or other languages, depending on your community and the need there. It can mean how to fill out a resume kind of classes. It can mean parenting classes, actually, in some cases. And so anyway, you've just got people rubbing elbows with each other who might not otherwise be rubbing elbows with each other, but recognizing they have a common humanity and a common need. So that is an awesome thing, in my opinion, about libraries.
What's like your favorite programming that you've been a part of in your career in libraries?
Ooh, well, I had a colleague, Bijan, who has now moved out of the city of San Diego with his lovely wife, Sarah. They are now living in Texas. But when he was here, I feel like we were an excellent team, and we created a series of videos. Bijan was not a stranger to cosplay himself, and he created a character called Librarian. And he used to bring this character to different library events, but then Librarian got a villainous nemesis called the Dewey Decimator, who was myself.
Oh my god!
So
Why? This is like...
videos. We have some videos. They are on YouTube. It's a 3-part series called Librarian versus Dewey Decimator. And more or less, I live in San Diego, California. Comic-Con happens here. So part of this was in promotion of library programs with Comic-Con, but it was also National Comic Book Day. We were also advertising the summer reading program. So we were like kind of knocking out several birds with one stone there.
Oh my god.
But
this is
that was a meaningful, awesome, fun, memorable thing that we did. And in the 3rd episode, it culminated in some B-movie special effects that my husband James helped with. We made a book scanner fly, and she had a cape and a little mask, and her name was Delilah.
amazing.
But she was the sidekick of Librarian, and I abducted her as part of this story.
Oh my god! This is like
Please tell me those links are going to appear
very
in
proud.
chat. Please
We're
tell
very
me someone's
proud.
going to find that and post it in chat right now.
Oh yeah, no, it's there. It's on
out
the
there.
internet.
This is like Recyclops on The Office.
Ooh,
Dwight
recycle.
gets,
I was
when
thinking
Dwight
a
gets
kick,
way too
kick
into...
puncher on Community.
Oh, yeah. It's like... People just can't keep the costuming away.
I know.
It just becomes part of your
I know.
thing. I name a folklorist who doesn't have a box of costumes. I dare you.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, the whole croning thing, right? Like that hinges on God. Oh man, I'm remembering. Wow, what city was that in? I want to say that was when we were in Santa Fe, New Mexico. There was a croning, and that was 2016 or something, I think, because it was like right before the Clinton versus Trump election, and there was like a whole ritual
Was it Miami?
involved. I don't think it was Miami. I feel like it was Santa Fe.
Miami was 16, and wasn't there a croning in Miami?
Oh, maybe. Well, maybe you're right.
Yes, there was.
Right.
In
Oh,
Miami,
the folklorists in chat. What I think want you to know it is Miami.
Okay, thank you. I
Miami.
appreciate
They have fond
that.
memories
I
of
appreciate
this.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, but yes, that was an epic croning, was it not?
This is unbelievable. I found it. I'm posting it in
Library
chat.
Man?
I sure did.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One more library, library question for you, Lydia, if you don't mind. And this might be
Daisy's making faces now. Anyway, carry on.
they're watching the video. And this might be like, I don't know. This might be like, I don't think this is necessarily touchy, but I don't want you to like leave the show without bringing it up. And that is, well,
yeah.
I mean, if people don't know, you have a PhD, but you are back in school to get your MLS.
Yes.
And I guess the question I want to know is, what was the moment you knew you had to go back and get another degree, to get an MLIS in order to continue working in libraries? Was there like a moment you knew?
Yeah, I think so. The pandemic had a lot to do with it, if I'm honest. So I got my PhD in May of 2019, and I was actively applying for academic jobs. And anybody who's been in that game knows that can take a really long time. It can be like a full-time job when you're applying for academic jobs. I think a lot of people here know that probably. But anyway, I was trying, no dice. And then, the pandemic really hit in March of 2020.
I was there.
And yes, weren't we all? Yeah. And a lot of libraries were shut down and such. And different people had been telling me, like, you should do this because you're good at it and stuff. And I was like, oh, I don't want to keep trying to get an academic job. And then I kind of thought, well, maybe I could go for an academic library job. Like, maybe that's kind of the best of both. But I also couldn't promote in the library where I was working at the time. You couldn't promote into becoming a librarian or any further than I had gotten without a master's in library science, even though I had a PhD. So it was a practical decision. I also found a program that was affordable for me, and I could do it remotely, and I could take as many credits or as few credits as I needed to at any one time. So it was very practical to do in lockdown, and I'm almost done with it.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to
you're
finish
so
it next
close.
month.
You're so close.
So my 4th degree, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So it's it was an emotional journey to do it. And I don't think that emotional journey is finished because, as I think some people know, when you leave graduate school, there's a real identity crisis about that. And
Oh yeah.
who am I without this community forged in the crucible of graduate school? But of course, that's a temporary context anyway, right? Like, it isn't sustainable to keep living through that.
Forged in the crucible of graduate school, or in my case, forged with green chartreuse at Caroline Miller's house.
Forged in the fires of Mount Graduate School. Or something.
Fermented in the keg of
Yeah.
graduate school.
That's better. I like that. Yeah. What do they say? Like, sociologists are wine drinkers and anthropologists will drink anything, and folklorists are microbrew drinkers. I don't remember. That was a bit of folklore. That was a bit of folklore forged at some
Well,
AFS.
that's very interesting because there was a tradition that the sociology department at IU had called beer qualls, when like when people would pass their qualls, they would do like a party called beer qualls, where you would where you would have to like you would study beers all night. You would get like a certain kind of beer and like study the beers. Then you would have to do a blind taste test and successfully identify which beers. And they printed off diplomas, and like your judges were your committee. You selected your judges. Yeah, I think.
That sounds really fun.
Wow. Chat, he did beer calls with me once. I've done beer calls. Yeah, I have my brewer's Zymergy diploma. Yeah.
That sounds like so much fun.
Oh, beer calls was so much fun.
I still think I prefer drunk PowerPoint, though.
Yeah,
I think that's still that might be my favorite thing.
Such a good drunk PowerPoint is so fun.
But Lydia,
that is also a good memory from the pandemic.
Yeah. Lydia, I want to say, but thank you for that answer, because I think it really resonated with a lot of people in chat who seem to be like, still early in their careers and like want to go to grad school, but don't like quite know what. Like, that's what I'm getting. A lot of people are saying this might be my next endeavor, or that's a mood and I just finished undergrad, or yeah, exactly.
And there's also
go ahead.
There's also a lot of people talking about how powerful you are.
Oh my God.
Every degree you grow stronger.
Yeah.
Ooh, you want to know
you're
something
like
else?
the Infinity Stones.
Yeah. You want to know something else? So during the pandemic, I also became certified to officiate weddings.
Hell yeah.
Because
I know a little bit about that.
Because Dom officiated my wedding.
Are you going to officiate Dom's wedding?
The circle will close. I don't know. Could happen though. So not only that, I did a Zoom wedding. I officiated somebody's Zoom wedding. A kitty. During 2020,
baby
but
cat.
now baby cat. In my current library, I just recently became a certified federal passport agent.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
I feel like the next step is notary public or something.
Let's go. Mobile notary. That's the sixth Infinity Stone. That's the soul stone on the palm. Yeah.
I think I figured it out. You're like the person that I want to call if I ever have questions about navigating bureaucracy. And part
I never would have thought that I would be that person.
And like, well, you might be, and also like a librarian makes sense for that, because it's kind of like libraries in that kind of like weird liminal space, and the through programming that is maybe not what you think of when you think library, because you just think like books or whatever. Like all of those other community elements that are offered are forms of teaching you how to navigate bureaucracy a lot of the time, or just the system in general. So like you're the person that I'm going to call if I like never filed my taxes before, and you're going to be like, H&R Block exists, and I'm going to be like, okay, cool, I didn't know that.
Yes,
Also,
I
here's an
have
article
many
about
things
it.
to say about that subject, in fact.
That's a
But,
very
you know-
good like summation of like Lydia's expertises, though, Daisy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I know. It's
Well-
like it said you can officiate weddings.
Hey,
You can do passport.
You can
Stop.
tell me when the free legal advice is.
yeah.
You
those
can
are
tell
all
me
true
about
things.
calendrical religious holidays.
Yes.
You can tell me about how to access like language classes.
Librarians are great for bar trivia. I just want to put that out there.
Hell
In general,
yeah.
we are excellent
Yeah,
at bar
because
trivia.
do you know shout out, I hope you're watching. I don't know if you are. Cindy Dabney, the law librarian at Indiana University. I was on her championship winning trivia team. In Indiana, and our name was Trivial Fursuit.
I love that. Currently, I am on a team called Nerds of Prey. We have also been Nerds of Paradise.
Nerds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn. Hey, can I ask that chat question, Daisy?
Yeah, go ahead. I was
Hey,
just putting
from our favorite actor, New Guy Neighbor, he asks a question for Q for guest. Most frustrating thing about working in libraries and most rewarding.
Ooh, that's a great question. I think it is often frustrating and sometimes very disheartening when people have needs that you are not able to meet because of systemic injustice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably very apparent at libraries too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is because there are a lot of people with a
Yeah.
lot of needs, and in my experience anyway, a lot of people in library work have very big hearts and are very giving and really want to help, but are limited to the ability to provide information, and not always the ability to change the whole system. I'm thinking specifically, I'm thinking of a very specific circumstance where there was a gentleman that I met who had just gotten out of prison, and he was very eager to get back into the workforce, and he needed to get copies of documents or replace some documents like a social security card, like a driver's license, things in the driver's license case it had expired in prison, but anyway, at the time there was a government shutdown. So he could not, like, I could get him to the website, I could give him all this information, but I could not reopen those offices. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and so that guy's life was just on hold, And I don't even know if that guy was experiencing homelessness at that moment or not. I don't know if he had a place to live while that was happening, but he was so eager to just like get back into the workforce and be making money. I am sure that he had a skill set. I know he had a job before he was in prison, but just like you see the anguish in people that you can't always do things about.
Because you are one of those last publics.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so
Yeah.
My partner David used to volunteer at a library for resume help stuff, and that was eye-opening because there were some people who came in. Yeah, speaking of programming, that was
programming.
Yeah.
There we go. Finish.
It was interesting because, like, some people would come in who fundamentally did not understand just how to use a website.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, where to, like, to me, I guess I'd never really internalized like what that experience would be like as a person who was born with and grew up online, basically.
Yeah.
But like some people, particularly some refugees that came in to get help building a resume to get a job, they like didn't understand like that they needed to have an email that they checked. Like they thought like, things like that are hard to explain because they seem so ingrained into parts of Western living or living in the United States that you forget the steps to like help too. And then you're like, this is a larger conversation that's like difficult to have. And you can help people to some extent, but like you can't tell people to check their own thing. Like there's an interesting boundary you have to draw when you help people too. But libraries are so important because of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say in relation to that too, I've definitely helped older folks who have difficulty just with the idea that my hand moves a mouse here and
Yeah.
something happens here.
Interesting.
You
Yes.
know, and
Yeah.
I mean that's a paradigm shift, that's a perception shift, that's something that's more intuitive if the internet came around when you were in your formative years versus if it came around when you were already an adult.
Yeah.
And I think email may fall into that category
Yeah,
too.
totally.
It's something
Sure.
it's something that may seem just sort of ephemeral, like it's out there and it's not something I'm confronting unless I'm conscious about it.
Oh, trust
makes
me,
me
I've
think-
confronted some emails.
It makes me
Same.
think about all the like assumptions that are behind the language we use too. Though, like we say, "Oh, you just need an email." A person's like, "Okay,"
This
so they
could
make
have
an
been
email.
Yeah.
But the assumption is that you
Yeah.
check the email
Mhm.
regularly, like that is an element of your schedule. It's not just you need to make the account. It's
Mhm.
that you have to routinely connect to the account. Like
Oh,
even
yeah, got
that
it.
assumption
That is a good
is
point,
like
Daisy.
was you say like, oh, you just need an email, or what is your email, is very different than saying I'm going to contact you and therefore you need to log into the system multiple times.
Yeah, we are going to be corresponding regularly through this from now on. Yeah. Huh.
And the pace at which most institutions do that now is like they not only expect you to be checking once a day, but like you should have it on your phone because you need to be checking it and responding multiple times. And if you don't that is all part of like a pacing.
Yes, and the anxiety too, because like you're on your off day and you're getting pings on your phone. You're like, I can't check it. I'm not on the clock, but like you want to because you're like, it's there. I hate that. I hate that.
Actually. Yeah, like even those to like unlearn and relearn how you interact with those systems. And I'm so happy that libraries exist. Please don't let libraries go away because where else are you going to learn that? Because that's like the informal culture.
Yeah.
That's the folklore of being a bureaucratic citizen of the United States. And when you fall out of bureaucracy or never had access to it in the first place, you're fucked, kind of.
There's a lot there. Neighbor also asked what was the most rewarding thing, I think.
Yes.
I definitely feel very affirmed when I see that somebody has genuinely been helped by library service in some way. I am an extrovert, which is very unusual amongst library staff in my experience. Many of my colleagues who went into library service are introverts and are drained by means of social interaction, but I thrive on social interaction.
God bless Lydia.
So I'm like, tell me about your life. Yes, I am so interested in the context that brought you here.
Yeah.
And and sometimes people just need to talk, or like today I helped this guy who had cataracts, and so his ability to see was really being impeded, but he had been to law school earlier and he was clearly a very brainy person, but he just needed a lot of help with some basic things because his sight was going. And I could tell he was very frustrated because he had been accustomed to doing all these things independently that he couldn't do now. And like there was a point where he was like, there was a time when I would have had a witty comeback for that, but my brain isn't that fast anymore. And I don't know. I felt that in my heart when I was interacting with him, but he seemed very, very thankful that I just took time with him. And also that, like, I don't know, there's the empathy of human interaction with somebody and the connection that you can build with other people. So I was very happy to take time and help him get what he needed today. And that was a very meaningful part of my day.
Oh, Lydia.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's always those little things. And as I mentioned, we do passport services in my library too. So I'm often looking at like people's personal documents
Yeah.
and I'm trying to help them arrange them or make the best packet that they can make out of that form to send to the US Department of State. And you learn so much about people's, citizenship stories, about you learn a lot of personal information about the custody of their children sometimes.
Mm.
You see a lot of different kinds of documents, and there's always stories behind them, and people are often very relieved afterwards that you helped them sort through that, and that is just incredibly rewarding to me.
It's awesome.
That's great.
Thank you.
Dang, maybe I want to be a librarian now.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Or maybe you
great
want to
for
be a
that.
passport agent.
I'm in the wrong field.
Do you want to get into some fun questions now to get off such serious but affirming answers?
Please, yes, these are very good. These are very good fun questions.
Yeah, I'm very excited about these fun questions this week.
I'm real intense, you guys.
Lydia, how many cats are within arm's reach right now?
2.
Show them.
Well, actually, I don't know. I don't see where Viago is, but Minnie.
That is to say, you have a Viago. You have a What We Do in the Shadows themed cat.
I do. I have 2 black cats. I have 2 voids.
Void.
There is a void.
Where
There's
is
the
it? All I see is a
void.
black hole in the middle of your room.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see a cat.
That's Minnie Moo, and she is asleep. Oh, Minnie Moo, buddy.
Oh my gosh.
She's such a sweet little cuddler. I love her so much.
What-
and
what are
Viago
the-
is a himbo.
Oh my gosh. I was just going to ask, what are their personalities like? What's
They
the
have
vibe?
big personalities. Very
wanna meet
big.
them
Viago
someday.
is very vocal. He's extremely talkative.
Talkative
And he
black
loves
cat
to-
is literally like my favorite cat build.
Yeah, I'm like, you mean the Kiki's delivery service cat? Yeah, okay. I get it, yeah.
Oh yeah. He also makes
There
great
it is.
faces, I feel.
Oh.
I think he takes after his mother.
She does
But-
make great faces, though. He's right.
I post it is absolutely a library stereotype that librarians all have cats or are obsessed with them. And that is a stereotype based in some truth. But I am obsessed with my cats. I post lots of pictures of them doing very funny things. And Viago is extremely eager. He's always making faces, affronted faces, surprised faces. I am obsessed with
Wait,
birds'
what kind of
faces.
Surprised faces?
Surprised face. Yeah, and Minnie is very, very clever. She's very she's like a little ninja cat. She's very slinky, but she's also very sweet and cuddly, and no one will cuddle up to you and roll over and want belly rubs in the middle of the night like that one.
Oh.
They're just I love both of them so much.
Defloris says that they have an entire Slack channel dedicated to cats at their library.
Hell yeah.
That's cute.
The best. I love that.
Nice.
So, Lydia, you mentioned the pandemic earlier.
I did.
So, I've got a question for you.
Oh boy.
What is shebang, and what was your favorite shebang theme?
Oh, that's the thing that happened.
I love
Yes.
shebang. I don't understand the
so-
etymology, but tell me.
I don't know if I have a good answer for the etymology, but so I think, as probably a lot of people might relate to, I found isolation in the pandemic to be very difficult for my mental health, particularly because I'm an extroverted person and very much thrive on social interactions.
See that answer a question or 2 questions ago, yeah.
With community, and I am thankful for so many of the communities that I belong to, and many of them are Venn diagram intersecting circles. And so I created these Facebook groups, and I guess they started thematically per month, didn't they?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. Did it start with Halloween?
I think it did.
Maybe. So yeah, in October of 2020, I just created like an October shebang group, or maybe a Halloween shebang group. And each day of the month, I would post some kind of a prompt.
Uh-huh.
And it was something
them,
like,
right? You would
yeah.
They'd auto post and you write them all early.
Yeah. And James and I brainstormed these, and sometimes it was like, create a cosplay out of household objects.
Oh, great.
And have people post pictures of themselves doing that.
I did Luoji from Three Body Problem.
Yeah. Or, you know, sometimes they were general questions like, do you believe in ghosts? Have you ever had a haunted experience? I mean, I'll live for that shit. I'll live for that. Or what else? Sometimes it was like, write a Mad Lib and share it and we can all fill it out, or, you know, write a limerick or something like that. Or, you know, everybody post pictures of your pets, you know. So it was just like a prompt a day, and it was a meaningful rallying point for community.
It really was.
And we persisted for like a year and a half.
I think the last one was like the second Halloween shebang or something, right?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, because more or less, I took on more work responsibilities and had less time to do it. So I just kind of petered out. But yeah, it was very meaningful to me, and I know a lot of people who participated in it felt that way too. It was a good connection point. And it
would culminate in a Zoom board game night.
Yeah. Or a Jackbox party.
Or Jackbox,
game night.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man.
Horatio Pastry.
I
right
love
there.
that.
Yeah. Zoom or Discord. Yeah. What was your favorite theme? Which month or theme did you like the best?
Oh, I mean, probably Halloween.
Oh, okay.
For sure. I mean, that's the sacred holiday of folklore.
Yes. I don't know. You say that, but there was like a spring or Easter one, right?
There must have been.
I liked that one a lot because I think that one organized the snack exchange later that year.
Right? Oh,
that was
a really awesome thing we did. Yeah. Yes, we did get a small group of people together to all think about snacks that were representative of the places where we lived, and we packed up little care packages and just sent them to each other and then sampled all of those snacks. That was dope.
That was so much fun. Yeah. Hey, you name dropped James a second ago.
I did.
So here's the question. Other than a husband, what's your favorite thing you ever took away from salsa night? Proud of that. I'm really proud of that one.
You should be. Dom, are you going to share the quote that you said when you were officiating our wedding?
I don't. What did I say?
You said, when I met James for the first time, we started dating, and then I was hanging out with you, and I was like, oh yeah, I just started dating this guy. He's just some white boy from Noblesville whose hips don't lie.
Yeah, whose hips do not lie. He's a white boy from Noblesville, but his hips do not lie.
Yeah, he's a really fucking good dancer.
He's a great dancer.
He's a great dancer.
People, you know James and Lydia are great dancers.
Yes.
Everyone tries to do the dirty dancing lift, speaking of baby, but you're the only two who can do it.
Well, no, you and James did the dirty dancing thing. I didn't do it. You guys did it.
Well, James is
He ran into your arms.
James is the key. Because...
But we are 100% here for salsa.
Hell yeah.
What's your favorite non-James part of salsa? Non-James takeaway.
I love salsa music in general. It's very appropriate that I live in San Diego because it's everywhere. We have multiple radio stations dedicated to it here. I love it. I think it just fills me with positive energy and happiness.
Hell yeah.
I've also made a lot of friends through salsa, so 100% socializing as well.
Daisy, how do you feel about this last one here, and then get to the game, and then call it because I'm gonna flight to kitchen in the morning?
Oh, yeah,
yes, I think you and Eastern Standard Time.
Okay,
I think that's great. Do that one.
This last one, Lydia. How has singing increased your relationship to fan communities?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
What?
Yes. I have a classical music background because Well, I think for several reasons, but my mother is a professional musician. My grandparents were professional musicians. And when I say that, I mean like very Western classical, like a very specific definition of musicality. And there are many. There are many ways to be musical, but I would say ours was rather structured, as it were.
Perhaps
and
broke.
Don't fix it. But
Bro, tomato.
dad jokes for days. But
Oh my
I mean,
God.
as a consequence of that, though, I would say that sometimes it did not always spark joy because it was this very serious, like you're going to do it well or you're not going to do it at all kind of a thing. And so I don't I don't know that or maybe it took years for me to find a relationship to being musical that wasn't beholden to this very specific cultural standard.
Yeah.
And I mean and when I say that, I mean like listening to pop music and dissecting it and being like, she was flat there.
Oh
Or like
my
that
God.
word was not articulated optimally.
But I
for
love
the
those.
resonance of the vowel.
I love those YouTube channels where they'll be like, the interesting thing about the trailer for the new Fantastic Beasts movies is that they do the Harry Potter theme with a flat 6, which is the Avengers theme. So at this point, they're just copying it. I'm like, so fascinating. Please do that to like the blomp of trailer music, you know?
Or like, I don't know. I listened to that music. I mean, I listen to music and always hear older antecedents to it.
Of course.
Like, I'm a rebel just for kicks, man. When I hear that song, I think, wait, Mr. Postman.
Yeah.
Because that's just, it's the same thing, but it's in minor instead of major. I don't know.
My brother
brain
the
is
musician.
doing that a lot.
My brother the musician says if a pop song doesn't remind you of a nursery rhyme, you wrote it bad.
Ooh,
That's really interesting.
That's a fun way to say that. Yeah.
As a person who does story time on the regular, I'm going to think about that for a long time, actually.
But
I'm spending a lot of time with
talk to us a little bit about your fandom musical expertise of breaking away from the Western classical tradition.
Yes. No. Another thing that brought me tremendous joy, and I would say mental health reprieve during the pandemic, was collaborating with Lit Bringers, and specifically Mandy Helton.
Mandolin, where are you? Mandolin, where are you?
Denizzo Targaryen, show yourself.
Reveal thyself.
And she's coming to Ice and Fire Con this year, everybody. First time for her.
In person.
Yes, I know. This
never met her in
entirely
person.
Oh my
entirely
God.
online friend.
It is going to be the biggest. I'm going to be received by the biggest embrace. I don't know if I'm ready.
Do not receive
I'm gonna cry a lot. I just know it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I feel like we're going a little from extreme to extreme. So anyway,
a bit. As some would say,
extreme
in the
to
meat
extreme.
space.
I just want you to know, speaking of pop music, you said extreme to extreme, and I just heard more than words, but that's the wrong kind of extreme. Anyway.
Yes, but also.
Yeah.
And not only the Lit Bringers, but also we mentioned when you came on the show, you more so than Peter Dinklage are the Tyrion Lannister I picture when I read the books.
Yes.
I never would have known. I could never have predicted this would become the case. That I would be known for my performance of heteronormativity.
Oh my God.
It was just a lot of grabbing.
To the back, so much grabbing
and so much entitlement. So much intense entitlement and grabbing of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Watch Act 2 of the musical if you want to know what that's about.
Yeah.
That is Westeros, an American musical.
I also the when I was like reading the YouTube video before, like the night before it dropped, I was at karaoke night at Rest in Peace Bear's Place in Bloomington, Indiana, and I was watching it in the alley where everyone smokes, and these these four girls came out and they're like, they were smoking next to me and they're like, what are you watching? And I'm like, I was in a Game of Thrones musical and I was at Shay No to this. And they start watching it and they're like, this is so fucking cool. And one of them says, I love your little Tyrion there, but I love thick Shay. So yeah,
we all love thick Shay.
Anna
I'm
and Lydia
so
and
excited to
Shay
see
and
it.
Tyrion.
My
Anna
Shay,
and
my
Lydia, Shay
secret
and Tyrion.
treasure.
My Shay, my secret treasure. Yeah, the two of you.
My greatest pleasure.
The two of you are my favorite iconic straight couple.
Yeah.
You're just
So
like
good.
That was I'm trying to remember exactly how this happened, but when we were practicing, I was like, let me know if this is okay or not. I'm gonna try something. And she was like, no, just go
this
for
is
it.
fine. Yeah.
I was like, this is
Anna
great.
be like that though. Well, Daisy, as long as we're talking about Lydia's portrayal of Tyrion Lannister on stage, I think you should do the honors.
Lydia. Okay, I didn't do this very well last week. So I'm gonna do it better this week.
Okay.
Lydia, we've reached a point in the interview in which we play a game with our guest.
Okay.
Have you ever made a tier list before?
I don't know what that is.
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
if you haven't, since you haven't, and some people in chat know what's about to happen, and those who don't, including Lydia, a tier list is a kind of way to rank things about everyday life on a scale. It comes from fighting games traditionally, but on Twitch, people use it more popularly to rank things about everyday life, like your favorite snacks or eggs. Or in this case, if you click watch stream on Discord, if you haven't already, we're going to ask you on a scale from S to D, S being superior, number one, best ever, your
over
favorite
100%,
thing. Over 100%. All the way down to D, which is a disaster, drama, terrible. We want you to rank your cosplays.
Oh my god.
And I know
This is
that
only a select few also.
we had to really narrow it down.
We had to really narrow it down, and we're doing more than we usually do also.
And also,
land.
because normally people can't really see the icons, don't worry. It's one of those where we've got an Imgur album.
Yeah, don't worry. We have an Imgur album for all this.
So let's start at the top as long as we already have you talking about Tyrion Lannister. Lydia, the canonical Tyrion Lannister.
Canonical Tyrion.
Canonically
Where are we
Tyrion
putting
Lannister.
Tyrion?
This is Tyrion Lannister in my head.
Yeah.
Bracer.
Oh my god.
So where do you rank your Tyrion Lannister on a scale from
On a
S to
scale.
D?
I think I would put Tyrion in B. And
Right-
mostly
right in the middle.
because of the wig, if I'm honest.
Yes.
It's
Very
a very
fair,
season
very
one Peter
fair.
Dinklage wig.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very fair.
Yeah,
Next.
the cuffs did not survive. I did not make
Oh,
them to
I
be
loved
long
those.
lasting.
I loved
Oh,
those.
those were
I
cool.
Gold.
hand drew those.
Whoa, that's cool.
The next one, I'll move this.
Yeah.
That's
James, everybody.
We're kind of
If you didn't know,
Here we go.
that is my wonderful partner in crime, James.
This next one we got to get to is
Yes.
you and your wonderful partner in crime, James, as Nadja and Laszlo from What We Do in the Shadows. Where is that?
Oh, that's hard too. Oh no. I'm gonna put that in.
Does he do the voice when you do this cosplay together?
Oh, he loves to.
Darling.
I mean, like
Darling.
he really. I think
You look ravishing, darling.
we actually got to see some of the cast at Comic-Con one year, and Matt Berry was on that panel. It was a personal highlight of my life for me.
Oh
but
my gosh.
also, Matt Berry is very, very shy in real life.
Aw.
Like he was very clearly uncomfortable
Well, of course,
in
he's
front of all those
acting,
people.
darling.
I know, and I was like, oh no, like someone like
Small bean
leave
room.
that man alone. He doesn't want to be here. Someone take him somewhere else.
Oh my
But,
gosh.
yeah.
So where are we ranking this one with your?
I would put that
with your
in the
fascinating
A
fascinating?
slot in the
All right,
second to
that's going A.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, another James and Lydia classic. We've got Oberyn Martell and Ilaria Sand.
This
That
is
was
so good.
James, I'm so
Early-
sorry. This is the best
that
picture
was
of Lydia as
early
Ilaria.
cosplay.
James, I am sorry we picked this.
I'm
picture
sorry
of
that you are 3 sheets to the wind
You
in
were
this
3
photo.
sheets to the wind. You have just left the Chicago cabin in this photo.
That was when James was like wandering all over, going, "My paramour," all the time, and I was like, "I do not know that man. I do not know him."
Don't know that man. I know we're dressed very similarly.
Bounty's
I do
your
not know that man.
finest
But
lease.
pay no mind. Pay no mind. Yeah. I'm going to put that towards the bottom, probably.
Is that D
A,
or
because
C?
it was the very first one, and also
Yeah.
because I'm not sure if I should have done a Dornish cosplay. But I'm going to put it in D.
D. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Next up, we've got
Oh my god.
the
This is-
Amethyst motherfucking Empress.
Oh
The
my god.
who I
When you
believe
showed up in this,
only appears for a paragraph of the coffee table book, and Lydia made the
Yeah.
costume. Yeah, go Daisy.
yes. When you showed up in this, everybody like in the room is like,
Whoa.
You know something, too? That year, I think at least 2 other people did Amethyst Empress besides me.
Really?
oh,
Because,
I think
yeah.
at least one other was it Chloe Ketchum? I think one other person. Maybe it
No,
was
I
Chloe.
think she was doing Ashara, but somebody
Oh.
came with Lucifer Means Lightbringer, the
Oh.
podcaster, as
Yeah.
Amethyst Empress as well that
Oh,
year.
Wild.
But I would put
That
that,
was
one at
the
the
year-
top.
That was the year World of Ice and Fire came out, I think.
It may have been.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
may have
I think
been.
it was, yeah.
And where are you
That-
putting it? Are you putting this S or A?
At the top on S.
Tippy top S. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
that
details are so
cosplay-
incredible. You
That
did all
is-
of this. You did
that is
all
the
of
most
this.
effortful cosplay I've ever
It's
made.
so
I learned
good.
an embroidery technique called soutache.
Sutash.
Whoa!
to make the collar and to make the earrings from scratch.
Yeah, you made the earrings. I forgot. You
No,
sutashed
I
the
did.
earrings.
I made the collar, I made the cuffs, I made the coat, I made the dress, I made the veil.
It's
I did
so
not
good,
make
Lydia.
the crown.
It's so
Thank you
good.
very much.
It's
Thank
really
you.
good. Yes.
The next
Well
one.
deserved. S
Speaking
tier.
of your username on all social media, is Sewing Strong. Your next one is the
Ooh.
Queen of Thorns. Ooh.
I should also say all the embroidery on that hat. My husband James did that embroidery. He is
Poggers. Let's
Yes.
go, James.
he really enjoys embroidery. It is
Aw.
the thing he enjoys. So
That's cool.
that
Wow.
was also an earlier cosplay for
Yeah.
me. I think I would put that maybe with on the same level as the Tyrion one in the third
Above or
level.
below?
good.
Above or below?
Ooh, okay, below.
Below. Okay.
I would say. Mhm.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Next up, we had a question.
Yes!
We had a question. What's your favorite religion in A Song of Ice and Fire? But I bet you would have
Oh.
just said
We both were
R'hllor.
like
Here
R'hllor.
you
Oh.
are dressed as the Lord of Light himself.
I did.
R'hllor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did. Yeah. I also like the old gods too,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
a faith. But yeah. This is a really dramatic one, and I do often
Oh,
feel
we've got
great
dramatic
affection
ones.
for the dramatic religion.
Yes. Your crown was so cool. Those are gold painted box
They're-
ties, aren't they? Or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, they're zip
That's so
ties.
cool.
Zip ties.
Yeah.
It's so
Uh-huh.
cool.
So cool.
And then I put like some LED lights in there too.
Yeah.
So good. Where are you ranking R'hllor?
I'm gonna put R'hllor on second tier with Nadja.
Above Nadja,
Maybe-
below
Yeah.
Nadja.
It's also a tough question. I'm gonna put it slightly below Nadja.
Slightly
I
below
guess.
Nadja. Okay.
Yes.
Next
Yes,
up
nice.
is 3PO.
I feel the only reason I'm going to put this lower on the tier is because that dress did not withstand a wash.
Oh my god.
The gold kind of peeled off when I tried to wash it. So anyway, it's still in good shape in this picture, and I actually used that dress for Star Wars Day at the library. Uh-huh.
That's cool.
The belt was like a stretchy black material, and then I put a bunch of ribbons over it
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, I think like
But
yeah,
yes.
yeah. That's a good idea. It's cute. It's like almost Disney bounding. Like you could wear it
Legally, it now is.
legally at Disneyland.
Where
Yes.
where's your 3PO going then?
I'm gonna put 3PO in C.
C, perfect.
Mhm.
Next up,
handmade.
A handmade.
That I did make the robe from scratch, but that was mostly hastily thrown together.
Okay.
So I will put that lower down. And I think that same year James just wore a suit. And so I was like off
good.
James.
As he was the patriarchy.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like, I don't think I want to be the patriarchy. And I was like, will you do it for me though? Like it'll be like a group thing.
It's like a fun. It's a scene. It's not reality. We're doing
I promise this is
performance.
a consensual contest. Just call it a kink.
Yeah.
So is this a C or
That's
a
a
D?
D.
It's
I
a
put
D.
that the very last. Very last.
Very last.
Yeah.
Next up, back to Song of Ice and Fire, we have Child of the Forest, Leaf.
I am proud of that.
Yeah.
It's
I
so
almost
good.
made a wink, a reference to that when you were like, I don't know if it's R'hllor. I like the old gods too. I was like, well, just wait a minute.
I forgot. Yeah.
Just wait a minute.
I would put that at the top right after Amethyst Empress. That is real moss, everybody.
Yeah,
real
that's right. Real moss. Real moss.
Is your cosplay of real
I'm
moss?
searching for a real moss.
Is your cosplay of real moss? No, I don't think so.
Whose cosplay's got real moss but Lydia
Yeah.
Bringerud?
Yeah, fake leaves, but real moss.
All right, Daisy, we're excited for this next one, aren't we?
Yes.
Beware the perfume
Seneschal.
Beware the Mammoth Dragon.
I made that mask from scratch.
I
too.
know.
That
It's
was
so good.
like, yeah.
This is Quaith. This is Quaith from A Song of Ice and Fire.
is.
Another
Yes.
like tertiary character that you nailed.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Seneschal.
I like those like not very frequently mentioned
Yeah.
characters that are
Quaith is
super
big.
colorful but marginal.
Yeah.
Quaith has a lot of impact. She shows up
And
in
Quaith,
2 books, like maybe 4 chapters, completely changes Daenerys' destiny.
Yeah.
and she does make an appearance in the show, unlike the Amethyst Empress. But show
it's not
Quaith
Quaith.
kind
Show
of
Quaith is
pales a
different.
lot.
This
yeah,
is
in
the Quaith
comparison.
in my head, though. This is Quaith.
Yeah.
Yay! So I very little of this cosplay was made from scratch, but I was still very proud.
It's very good.
Yes.
I would put that. I would put that one in the middle also. Maybe in between Tyrion and Olenna.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one below Olenna. I'm not sure.
Down here?
One below Olenna. Yeah.
And I want to point this out for people watching. That is a real Raven. His name is Bishop, and he shows up at Baltimore Ravens games.
Yeah,
He
he's
does.
famous. He's a famous Raven.
He's a famous bird.
Yes.
Yeah,
He is
that's
a good
Bishop.
boy.
He's great. I love Bishop. And lastly, we got Septa
good.
Unella and Brother Lancel.
That was the year I shamed the Iron Throne.
It's very good.
As it deserves.
I rang the
Shame.
bell at the end.
As it deserves.
Shame.
As it deserves.
I was really proud of how I put the headpiece together because it was not intuitive. It was not intuitive. It was like 2 pieces, and I did make the skirt too. And James embroidered his chains there.
That's right.
I was gonna say
He
those
made
are
those himself.
are
Oh no,
cool.
crochet. I'm sorry, those are crochet, not
but
embroidered.
yes.
those are cool.
Brochet.
Yes. He's a
Yeah.
crochet. He's a man of many talents.
Yes.
Yeah.
What
okay.
a Renaissance couple, honestly.
And also, that is the place where they
Yes.
filmed Dirty Dancing in the background.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. Nobody
very
put
good.
Septa Unella in a corner.
Yeah.
The goblins put Baby in a corner all through Elden Ring tonight, but we won't talk about
Yes.
that. All right. So where's Septa Unella going?
She's gonna go with C-3PO in the
Tell
C
me it's C, because
column.
look at this distribution.
Look at even
Look at this
distribution. Look at that.
distribution.
Were you trying to do this? Look at this.
Did you mean to do that? It's perfect.
Wow.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
Turn your head
And
sideways,
actually-
chat.
If I
Oh my
could be
gosh.
honest with you, I would say those are actually chronological for the most
Whoa,
part.
that's
Whoa.
really true, actually. Yeah.
With the exception of Child of the Forest. Child
Yeah.
of the Forest
Well, also-
chronologically was a little earlier.
A
but-
little
Handmade too, though. No.
No. I think that
I
might be
guess maybe it's
accurate.
around that time. I guess it's around that time. I guess so.
Yeah, I
Oh
guess
my
Pretty
gosh.
close though.
so.
I want you
I
to
feel
know.
like it came out. in 2015 or something like that.
Oh my god.
Lydia, I want you to know
2016.
that James
Happy.
Bell was in chat going, put it in C, because he saw that it would be a bell curve.
It's like so happy.
James
Oh my
Bell
gosh.
curve.
James Bell
But
curve.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
we've got the James curve tonight.
Oh my god. This is hysterical.
I think this is as good as place as any to do it. Wait,
I think
hold
so.
on, hold on.
Yeah, I think we gotta go back.
I don't
yeah.
even think I can put a pin up, like tie it together this week, Daisy. It's too good.
I just
On
okay,
a
wait,
scale
hold on.
from
I
the
got it.
amethyst.
On a scale of the Amethyst Empress to a handmaid, oh god, I wanted to say something powerful about like the overthrowing patriarchy, but there's not really a scale because they're both very powerful. It doesn't work.
But also, like, is it all overthrowing the patriarchy? Because we definitely have Tyrion in there.
That's true.
And also
Oh,
Septa
man.
Hunella, who is
Oh, yeah,
not
that's true.
overthrowing
Yeah.
the
Okay.
patriarchy.
On
On a scale from
true,
Amethyst Empress, a
Okay.
scale from Amethyst Empress to Handmaid, how handcrafted is your cosplay?
Yeah, what's that embroidery you learned?
Yeah.
Oh, Sutash.
Yeah.
Sutash.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, on a scale from the Amethyst Empress to the a handmaid, how hard you fuck with the Sutash?
I actually have a little bit of Sutash in one of my cosplays for this year.
Oh.
It's not as much Sutash as I used for Amethyst Empress, but there's a corset that I added some stuff to.
Is this? Are you able to tell us? Or is this an NDA thing?
Oh no, I could tell you.
Okay.
I am doing Rhaenyra.
That's
Sneak peek.
Targ.
Oh my
Favorite
God.
Targ.
Hell yeah.
It's in a suitcase right now, you guys.
Oh my God, Rhaenyra!
go get it
I
out.
fucking love
my God,
Rhaenyra.
I will say, I will say though,
This is a Rhaenyra Targaryen stream, people.
I made it-
This is a
I mean-
Rhaenyra Targaryen stream.
we stand.
We stand one
we
queen.
stand our
One
bard.
realm,
There is but one queen.
Rhaenyra Targaryen.
Bard queen.
So on my Instagram page, there are pictures of, I would say, most of my cosplays on there, and Rhaenyra's on there, like when I was working on
Oh hell yeah! I gotta look
on that. Because I was working on these cosplays in January of 2020 because I did not yet know that we would not be going.
Look at you, not
April
conquering.
2020. So Rhaenyra is from that year, and then as the year progressed, and as I was getting very, very sad and not feeling very good on the inside, I did work on I worked on a couple of other cosplays because I was trying to, fill that void.
Mm-hmm.
So I made an Alicent Hightower as well,
Boo,
and that
Alicent
was
Hightower. Rhaenyra
that was
only.
when I
Boo,
learned-
Alicent Hightower.
That was when I learned, because of Megan D. This is why it's so helpful to meet other cosplayers, because they can teach you things. And Megan D is also an exceptional costumer. But I learned about this thing called a modesty panel, because if you're trying to make something that laces up in the back, and if you do not account for the proper amount of space to cover your body in that gap, there is something called a modesty panel you can fill the gap with underneath all your lace up stuff. So that was a fun learning experience.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah. So
Lydia,
that was another cosplay made.
Lydia, you already mentioned just now where people can find you. Sewing Strong everywhere. Also at the library in Chula Vista, California.
That's right. It's
Awesome.
just south of San Diego.
Yeah, right by Tijuana.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say ladders for Lydia, GG's for Lydia.
Please,
And
everybody.
it's getting late. I've got a flight to catch first thing in the morning. So I hate to call it your stream, but we're calling it here. What are you gonna say, Days?
I wanted to drop like 2 or 3 other just like quick things to keep an eye out for.
Oh yes, do it. Wait,
because I think this will be fun.
Mod talk.
We need mod talk. That's fine, or whatever. This will be fun. So a couple things.
Yeah.
One, we've talked a lot about Ice and FireCon. Dom is coming to Ohio.
Yeah.
Lydia is coming to Ohio.
Yeah.
We are going to be together.
I'm going to take a nap at Daisy's house tomorrow.
Yeah, Dom's taking a nap at my house
I'm gonna be
tomorrow.
baby.
It's going to be fun. I know, it's going to be very cool. Yeah. So throughout the week, just keep up on like Folkwise Instagram and stuff. And Dom, you should plug your TikTok because
I should plug the TikTok for is her TikTok Salsa Stark? I feel like she's gonna go follow go follow Salsa Stark on TikTok. She's gonna be posting a lot.
Yeah, and we should
my TikTok is Hate on Tea.
Hate on Tea on TikTok. Please follow because Dom and I have the same Reg Desk
Saturday
scheduling
11
for
a.m. Reg Desk.
Saturday 11 a.m. Eastern. We're gonna be hanging out in costume probably.
And
talking
we're gonna
to
be
each other.
I'm getting my hair braided. I think I'm getting my hair braided there. Let's go.
Ooh.
So that'll be fun. We're there to chat and answer questions and say hi and do cosplay and talk about fun folklore related stuff that happens at the con. And I'm sure that we're going to be posting a lot on our story when there's folklore related stuff that comes up in our daily lives, as well as see Lydia. We're going to see T Papas 56, who's always in the chat. We're going to see a bunch of our friends who hang out with us. What's up, everybody? If you want to wave, find us, and we'll put you on Folkwise. Promo how fucking cool your cosplay is. I think that's mostly it. And then the last thing I wanted to say is that next week we're back to our regular schedule. We will be here. Oh, great break. See if they find us.
I see that. It's time to go. It's time to end the
It's time to
stream.
go. TikTok Q&A.
TikTok Q&A. I'll go live on TikTok. We'll record new guy doing the Willem monologue and put it over a fireplace. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we'll do that. Don't worry. We got you, kid. That's what new guy asked. Yeah. I guess Gloria Colin Brown is gonna be on next week. Okay, bye.
Gloria Colon, bye.